Hey, leave it. So I got the NRG, not Z, Prisma Ultra. Phone pockets here, it's great. And I had one of these in the BMW. I had a black one. And it felt pretty comfortable. It held me in really well. I want to get some harnesses, but I also would need a harness bar, and I'm still on edge about that. We'll see how this holds me in with this normal seat belt. So we pulled the driver's seat out, just took some 4 bolts, and the fact that the RX8 has suicide doors, oh shit, makes it I made the seatbelt lock, but because it has suicide doors, it makes it real easy to pull out. So 414s, move the seat around a little bit, pull it out. Just has these 2 cords on it, unplug them, and then it comes right out. But I'm gonna go grab a vacuum, clean all this shit up, you know, because it's not often that you're always all the way underneath the seat. And then we're gonna get the new seat bracket over here, bolt that in, and then see where I want the seat positioned and get everything bolted down. And then also we're gonna see if I can take the stock seat belt off, which it looks like it'd be fairly easy to come off and put on the new bracket. There's a hole over there where it could go. And then I'm gonna see if I can get some of the wire harnesses off of it so it doesn't throw any codes on the dash. Because, you know, now that I don't have a BMW, I'm kind of, I like no lights on the dash. It makes me feel good. So that's where we're at right now. And I'll be right back to show you guys the seat mounted in and how it looks. Okay, so it's kind of in, it's kind of not. So that's how it looks in there. You know, it looks good, but the only issue is I have it on the lowest setting. Well, right now I raised up the front to try to see if it would clear any differently, like lean back. But basically, with the bracket I have and these seats, there's 3 adjustments. I have it all the way bottomed out, and this one was bottomed out. But when I sit in, I've only got like an inch above my head, which isn't enough for the helmet. So when I have the helmet on, I'm basically like doing like my head's in the roof. So right now, I made a post on a Facebook group seeing if anyone else has made this work. I thought they would work because I've seen people run NRGs and Miatas and stuff. But if it doesn't, well, I guess Miatas you can put the top down, which might be why they work. But if it doesn't work, then I'm just gonna send that seat back, and I'll put this back in for now for the next event, and then I'll use the money probably towards the motor rebuild, and then I'll get a new seat after when I start focusing on interior a bit more. But that's where we're at right now. I'm gonna wait for a response on some Facebook groups, and if I don't really get anything, then on Monday the seat's going back. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. So we're back here working on this, and I've made some upgrades. So I wanted to do a time lapse, but I forgot. You know, it goes like that sometimes. So I pulled out the intake and battery and the bumper, which got repainted. So it's all one color now, and it looks all nice. But I pulled off that so I could get to what was this, which insurance covered a new stock radiator for me, which is all fine and dandy, but I ended up wanting to get a bit of an upgrade. So if you look into here, you can see I got myself a coil rad. Ow, fuck. Don't touch hot stuff. And then I got some different hoses. They were a bit thicker, a bit beefier. There was only one I couldn't use, and there's 3 hoses. There's a hose down there for the upper, and a hose below it for the lower. Or sorry, that's the lower. There's an upper right under the coolant reservoir here, and then it goes to the temperature sensor, and then it goes to this hose. But this hose, the aftermarket one, didn't want to go onto the temperature sensor. It was too thick, and I couldn't get it around there. So I ended up using the stock hose there, but I put new clamps on, And I'm always questioning myself on whether they're tight or not. I never know how tight is tight enough, but if you grab it, wiggle it around, they're not going anywhere. So that I should assume is a good amount of tight, the fact that I can grab them. And if we come down here, you can kind of see, here's the, when you get the bumper off and the under tray off, you can see where the AC condenser is, and the radiator is right behind it. So it's all nice and shiny in there, even though no one's ever gonna see it except maybe me every now and then. Hopefully not again anytime soon. But right now I'm just putting everything back together, and there's the lower hose right there for you. What are you supposed to plug into? Oh. Well, I need to figure out where this guy goes, because I'm not entirely sure. Maybe that's why my coolant light was on. I thought it was just because the system wasn't bled yet. But I'm going to double check that this one's tight since I have easy access to it right now. And then I'm going to put everything back together. And then I'm going to clean everything up. But the underbody, looking pretty good. There's a bit of rust. This is apparently where I bottom out the most. But I'm glad the oil pan doesn't look like it's seen too much damage. Something just dripped. Hope it's just condensation. Dripped again. It looks like it's just condensation from here. One second. Yeah. I'm like 98% sure it's just water. Yeah, it's water. Oh, there's oil. Looks like we've got an oil leak from somewhere. That's not cool. But what sucks though is that when we did the coil rad radiator, I'm waiting for my fan switch to come in, so these fans will turn on at 180 rather than 200. And then I put in a new water pump right there. It's all shiny, right down the right there. And then I put it in Mishimoto 76 degrees Celsius thermostat. But when I was pulling everything apart, if I can find it, right here. When I was pulling everything apart, I was reading the top of the thermostat, and focus, Mishimoto 76 degrees Celsius. So thermostat was already new, and the water pump appeared to be pretty fresh, and the gasket were all pretty good. So that's kind of a bummer that it was already done. Here's the hose that wasn't working. It was just this wouldn't stretch out far enough to get around what I wanted it to. But I'll just keep it as a spare, and then if I need to, I'll make it work. But everything's back together now. I just ran the system and then had it running for a bit and made sure that the coolant, I need to take some out of there, is nice and full. I was hoping to be able to fill it up with the coolant I had and top it up with distilled water to have more water in the system, but it's fine. Mishimoto Coil Rad said they won't warranty it unless it's 50-50. But the next step will probably be these guys. These are our oil cooler thermostats. The stock ones don't open up till super high, so I got some extra ones over here from Rotary Performance. They're in this bag, trust me. So I got some extra ones here, and they open up much sooner. So everything on this car is about keeping it cool on track, because I like to be able to hot lap it and then just have fun with it. And that's the goal. But eventually, when I get some extra money, I do want to either get these rebuilt and these fins all redone, or just get new oil coolers. I don't know how. I've heard that the OEM ones are all right, so I'm fine with keeping them. Maybe I get a fan kit on the back to cool them down faster. But I just want to fix these fins on both sides. The other one's not as bad, but this one's pretty messed up. And then I can probably open up these holes a bit bigger, you know, make a full line. And then I think we'll be good on cooling after that, hopefully, because there's not much more cooling mods I can think of. But once I put the battery in the trunk, because the battery sits right on top of where the fans and the radiator are, I hope that'll make open up everything so the air can flow out a bit more and maybe get a vented hood. So hopefully the air can take a line out of the car. And then I've seen I think it's kind of pointless to do the air intakes other than it'll make this a lot smaller and it'll put the filter in the bumper, and that'll make servicing anything cooling related a lot easier. I don't have to pull out this whole big air box. So I might look into getting one of those as well in terms of getting things serviced. But everything's going back together. This guy, he's a little vent tube that goes right here. He's going to stay out for now because I don't know how to put it back in because it fell out. And I was like, oh, it doesn't fit anymore. So if anyone needs a stock RX8 radiator, let me know. I'm going to go back to putting that back together, and I'll let you guys know how it performs. So let's go to that.